Ever wondered why Americans say soccer while most of the world insists on football, and why both sides sound mildly offended by the other? The story begins not in America, but in Victorian England, where students at elite universities had a charming habit of shortening and reshaping words. Football itself was already a broad term. There were multiple versions of the game floating around, each with its own rules. To bring order to the chaos, the Football Association was formed in 1863, and its codified version became known, rather grandly, as Association Football. Now here's where linguistic mischief enters the pitch. At Oxford University in the late 19th century, students loved adding the suffix "er" to clipped words as a kind of playful slang. Breakfast became brekker, rugby football became rugger, and association football. That got shortened to ASOC, which then morphed into a soccer, and finally soccer. It was not, contrary to popular myth, an American invention. The term soccer was thoroughly British in origin, used widely in England for decades, especially among the upper classes who were simultaneously inventing the game's vocabulary and pretending not to take it too seriously. But language, like sport, has home advantage issues. As time went on, another code, rugby football, kept rugger, while association football gradually simplified in everyday British usage to just football. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, where multiple forms of football competed for attention, soccer proved useful for clarity. It stuck in the United States, not as slang, but as a practical distinction. By the 20th century, the linguistic tables had turned. Britain largely dropped soccer, treating it as unnecessarily American, while the United States adopted it as the official term. So, what we have today is not a mistake, but a time capsule. A word born in Oxford banter, exported through global sporting culture, and now serving as a subtle reminder that even the simplest games come with complicated histories. In the end, whether you call it football or soccer, you're really just picking a side in a very old, very polite linguistic disagreement. One that started, as so many English stories do, with students trying not to sound too serious about anything at all.